Here we go with graphing, quadratics, and exponentials test review. This should go right along with your review. This should be hopefully one of the last things you watch here before you take the test. It's going to be similar. I'm going to talk about things that we want you, or I want you to kind of fill things in. So hopefully this goes right along with getting ready for the test. Obviously the test is going to be different numbers, but it's similar in structure. Hopefully you guys will feel comfortable with this, and hopefully we pick up a lot of our understanding as we go here. So if I am going too fast on the video, you can always pause it. I'm going to keep going so this video doesn't go too long. That's why I'm going to get right into things here. So first off, we got vertex form of a quadratic. It's quadratic because of the x squared. So the a value is what is out front. That is right here. So a is a positive 1. You need to put a 1 in that spot, not just a plus sign. Okay. H is going to be the opposite sign from this. So it's going to be -4. Because of the formula. That can be tricky, so be careful with that part. This sign stays the same. So H and K should match up with your vertex. So you want to get this right because you get points for that twice, okay, in those spots. The axis of symmetry is the x value from the vertex. So that'll be at -4. And then does this open up or down? Well, you can look back to the a value is positive, so it's going to open up, and that is down there. Okay, on the test, I would say probably just do lowercase. We try to make it so that it works for the others, but lowercase letters are fantastic. Don't want to leave any spaces when you fill those in. So there is that part. Let's go ahead on to number 2. The a value this time is a negative out front, so we want to put -1. Right, so make sure, be aware of that. A is -1. H is going to be the opposite sign, so it's going to be a +3. K stays the same and is -6. All right, so that fills out those fill in the blanks. Now, once you have H and K, you essentially have the vertex of 3, -6. So there is that part. And then the axis of symmetry is the x value, so x equals a +3. That's our axis of symmetry. And then last, does this one open up or down? Well, because it's a -a value, that tells us it's going to open down. So this one, again, I would use lowercase letters. If you do use an uppercase letter at the start, that's fine, but I would try to keep it just like I have it here. Okay, so there's 1 and 2. I'm going to keep moving since we got 10 questions to go. Well, sorry, 8 more to go. 10 questions on the review and the test. And again, reminder, you get to use your notes on this, or on the test, so anything you write down, you can use. Here we go, we'll keep rolling here. Number 3. It asks you which graph goes with the following. Y equals x -1 squared plus 2. Now, I'm not going to draw up all the multiple choice options, but I'm going to tell you how I would go about solving this. So don't look at the multiple choice options when you first look at this. First thing, this is vertex form, so I can find the vertex. The opposite of that sign, because of the formula has it in there, is +1. This one stays the same, that is 2. And then I also know that because there's no negative out here, so this is a +1 for the a value, that it opens up. So I want the graph, so I go through, it's got to be a parabola that opens up, so that can eliminate the ones that open down. And then which one has a vertex at 1, 2, that's right here, and goes like this. So there you go. So you'd want to match that up with the multiple choice. Now the multiple choice don't have letters because we shuffled the answers to make sure people weren't necessarily sharing all of their work. Not that you guys would do that anyways, but anyways, I hope it should keep you honest. You just want to find the right one, the one that opens up with the vertex at that point. So there is number 3. Okay, number 4 says to fill out the table. So for number 4, we're going to fill out the table. Here we go. Y equals x squared plus 4x plus 1, I believe. All right, so this one is actually probably going to be about the most amount of work you have to do on one of these. Now we don't know where we're going to, or what we're going to use for x values just yet. So what we have to do for this one, we're going to do x equals the opposite of b, or -b over 2a. This is going to be step 1, and then step 2 is going to be to plug in x to get y. So that's going to get me my vertex that we will put in the middle right here. Okay, everything else will go around it. So I start off there. So let's do this. We go x equals the opposite. So this is A is 1, B is 4, C would be 1. So the opposite of B is negative 4 over 2 times A is 1. We get negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. So that tells me this is a negative 2 right there. Okay. Then from there, I'm going to take this and plug it in. So y is going to equal, and I would actually just type this whole thing into the calculator. So I'm going to go parentheses box squared, so x squared plus 4 times x, so another parentheses box plus 1. So I fill in the blanks there with my negative 2 that I just found. Okay, and when I do that, so use your calculator, we should get a negative 3. So that tells me that my vertex is at negative 2, negative 3. Now, you won't have to graph this one, but seeing it on the graph, negative 2, negative 3 is here. Here's my axis of symmetry. I want to check points around it, so I'm going to go both directions. So I'll go negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. But I'll also go so that way and go this way. So that would be negative 1 and 0. Because remember, these 2 points are going to match up, just like these 2 points will match up. All right, so now for this next part, really, we're going to do the same thing we did right here, just instead of plugging in negative 2, now I'm going to plug in, and actually I'll divide these off here. I'm going to plug in one of these, because if I get negative 1, I've also got the spot that goes to that one. So if I do negative 1 squared plus 4 times negative 1, use your calculator, type it in. You can use the online calculator if you need, but use the parentheses. That part will mess you up. Here we end up getting, what was it, negative 2. So that goes right there. And then 0, 0 should be the easiest one. Anytime you can use 0, it's great because 0 just wipes out those two. So this just goes away and we've got 1. So this one's 1 and 1. Again, you can use the calculator there as well. There's your table. You do not have, obviously you're not going to have to graph these. You might have a multiple choice with it, but the one that's on the quiz, or sorry, the test review is very similar to the one you'd see on the test. Okay, so there is number 4. All right, keep going. Hopefully you've already got the test review finished, but like I said, this is good to go through to add some notes or to answer any questions. You can always fast forward to ones you missed. If you got them right, then fantastic. You don't have to look back at this. All right, number 5 is which graph goes with y equals x squared minus 2x plus 3. So if we're trying to find the graph that goes with this, we know because this a is 1, that tells me it's going to open up. So I can eliminate any multiple choice graph that opens down. Okay, just from knowing that, without even working anything out. Now I am going to have to find the vertex, so I'm going to do x equals, so if that's A, this is B and C. Negative 2 essentially is the opposite of 2, which is opposite of negative 2 is positive 2. So that goes there. Opposite of B is positive 2 over 2 times A is 1. So I get 2 over 2. So that's going to be 1. So x, our x value of our vertex, because the key things we need where does it open, or does it open up or down, and what is the vertex? So the vertex is at 1. Okay, and then we're going to plug it back in to get the y value, just like we did on the table, blank squared minus 2 times blank plus 3. So I fill in the blanks with my x value, the 1 right there. I believe, use your calculator. You can do it in your head if you want, but I just use the calculator, we get 1, 2. So the correct answer is going to be the one with the vertex at 1, 2. That opens up. So it goes like that. Okay? So there that is. All right. So that's number 5. Okay, there we go. Number 5. So we've got 10 questions here. Some of them, I know this is a little bit longer video, but I'm going to keep going, trying to get you as much information as possible before the test. All right, for number 6, you have to decide from the graph, you have to fill in the blanks. So y equals blank times x with 2 blanks squared, blank, and another blank. All right, So you got to fill these in. Some of these are going to be a sign. Like this is going to be a plus or a minus. This one is a plus or a minus. So you will have to fill in the blanks on some of these. Now going from the graph, what is important is that you understand, let's see, it has a vertex at 2, 4, I believe, and it opens up. So this is the picture that you have. So what you need to do this is, what is the vertex? The vertex is at 2, 4. Okay? And it definitely opens up. So that tells me the A value is a positive 1. So you're going to want to type in a positive 1 instead of just a plus sign. Okay, now this one is going to be a sign. Now when you plug in positive 2, the formula has a negative. So it's going to be, the opposite of this sign is going to be minus 2. So you'll put a negative for this spot, and then a positive 2 in that spot. So I'm not trying to confuse you with that. It's just, they go right next to each other. So the negative goes here, the 2 goes there. Okay? And then this is a positive 4, but this one doesn't have anything in the formula that changes its sign. So a plus sign will go here, and a 4 will go there, and there you go. Okay? Now, depending on your computer that you have, I know sometimes on my computer it wraps this around, like you'll have all these fill in the blanks, and it might have an extra blank down here. So I just want to say, if that happens, then you would put the 4 down there, just like you go from left to right, and then if it has to go down here, you have to just start with where it would pick up. Okay? So there is number 6. All right, let's keep moving with number 7. 7 was the same type of question. Ah, I got those mixed up. Come on, Bushy. All right, so that one I just did, that was number 7. So I messed that up. So now this is number 6. I apologize for any confusion. I'll try to make a note of this. For number 6, it should have been -3, -1. And for the vertex, so -3 is back here, -1 is down here, and this one opens down. So I'm sorry for the mix up on that. I'll probably keep the video, but I'll try to make a note that I messed that up. But anyhow, for number 6, so you have the fill in the blanks for this one as well. Blank, blank, squared. There you go. So, because I've already this far in, I won't go back with it. But anyways, the vertex is at the point -3, -1. All right, and it definitely opens down. So that means here we're going to put a -1. I would prefer you put a -1 with no spaces. We tried to account for that on Canvas, but the best way to make sure you get it right is if it opens down, put -1 with no spaces. All right, this would be minus a -3. So minus a negative turns into a +3, so that sign would be plus, and then 3 there, and then the -1 would go in that spot. And so again, I know I mentioned this on the last one that I had the wrong number with, but if the last blank is there and then there's another blank down here, then you would put the 1 down in that spot. And I'm not trying to confuse you with that. Some of you it won't matter because your computer will have the whole thing. I've had some students ask about that. Okay? So 6 and 7 kind of go together. My apologies on getting that mixed up. I'll make a note whenever I post this about that one. All right, number 8, we get into exponentials. So for number 8, we got y equals 2 to the x power plus 3. This one you're gonna be given -1, 0, 1, and 2. All right, so we're gonna go. I like to go with this one first. So we're gonna go 2 squared plus 3. So that's gonna be 4. Right, plus 3. So that's going to be a 7. So you'll fill in the 7. You'll fill in all of these on the test and on the test review as well. 2 to the first plus 3. That's just 2 plus 3. So that one gives me 5. Anything to the 0 power is not 1. Okay, anything to the 0 power is not 0. It is 1. So we get 1 plus 3. That one's going to be 4. And then last, 2 to the negative first power plus 3, that's the tricky part. Negative exponent, we take the reciprocal here, we get 1/2 plus 3, so we get 3.5. Now when you type this in, I would prefer that you not try to type it like this. To guarantee it's correct, I would put 3.5 would be the best answer there. Okay? If you get it wrong, and for whatever reason you say you tried to type in the fraction, I can go back and look at it, make sure you email me about that, but I'll try to look out for that when I'm going through and grading. Okay, so there's number 8. You do not have to graph that one. Okay, 9 and 10, more exponentials. Here we go, number 9. This one is y equals 2 times 4 to the x power minus 5. Okay, so -1, 0, 1, and 2 again. We don't have to worry about trying to find the vertex. We can just go straight to it. We get 2 times 4 squared minus 5. Okay, so 4 squared is 16 times 2 is 32 minus 5. We get a 27 right there. That's how we get that. 2 times 4 to the first power minus 5. That's just going to be 4 times 2 is 8. 8 minus 5 is 3. 2 times 4 to the 0 power minus 5 there. We get anything to 0 power is 1. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 3 we get a negative, or 2 minus 5 we get a -3. And then last, 2 times 4 to the negative first power, minus 5 here. So I'm going to write more of this one out. Negative, so the reciprocal, so we get 2 times 1/4 minus 5. So if I keep some space here, that's going to be 2/4, which is 1/2 minus 5, to give me a -4.5. And again, you could try to write it that way, but I would prefer you put -4.5 in that spot. Okay? So there is the table on that one. All right, I'm going to keep moving because the video's kind of getting a little lengthy now. Last one, number 10. I think you're given, or you got to find which of the graphs go with y equals a -2 to the x power. So on your paper, I would write out the table, figure out which graph matches up with it. Now, it is a negative, so remember, if you recall, a negative is going to go down. It's not like a parabola that opens down, but the result going to the right is it opens down. So -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, we end up with negative times 2 squared. So the negative is outside the parentheses, so we get -4 right there. Same here, negative times 2 to the first power. That's a 2 times a negative, we get -2. Anything to the 0 power is not 0, it is 1. So we get -1 out of that. And then -2 to the negative first power. Negative, it's not negative where we get a positive. It's going to be, this part is going to become 1/2 and then a negative there. And again, if you had to type this in, for this part it doesn't matter because you're going to graph it, but that would be a -0.5 or -0.5. So we got to find which graph matches up with the table. So we've got 2, -4. We've got 1, -2. We have 0, -1, which is this point, and -1, -0.5. So our graph is the one that runs right along like this and then goes down. I know I made a joke about, or just goof around about that being like Stranger Things, but it's basically reality's up here. The upside down is just like this. It's a negative exponential right there, okay? So that is number 10. That is the quiz, or sorry, the test review. This is the lengthiest video I've had yet, so I'm going to wrap it up. Good luck on the test. Do the best you can. Let me know if you have questions. Thanks.